Well, hello guys, my name is Nick from Nickstoygarage, and today we're restoring this Matchbox Mercedes 300 SE number 46. But before we start, I recently discovered that 45% of my viewers isn't yet subscribed. So to fix that, please hit the subscribe button down below and the bell, so you get notified every time I upload a video, because that will make me so happy. Then that's a present for me actually. So let's take a look at this car. I actually found this one in my parts bin. Yes, I've been buying up large amount of parts, so if I ever need a part I have them, and this was one in my parts bin. Why is it in my parts bin? Well, you will see shortly. There it is. The rivets are already drilled out and the interior is missing. Now I'm pretty sure that the interior is actually in the parts bin. Well, I'm not pretty sure, I'm definitely sure, because, well, this is in the future and I already have the interior, but at this point in the video I don't have the interior, so don't go along with the imagination, don't ruin the fantasy. So maybe there's an interior somewhere in my parts bin. So let's take it apart. It's relatively easily because everything is already drilled out. The rivets are gone from the base, and the window is already riveted out, already drilled out. At this point I was debating on taking off the doors, but for the sandblasting step it's easier that they remain on so I don't actually lose them. Also, the trunk just releases from this model. There are models that the trunk is actually stuck, and if you lose the trunk, it's over. You probably cannot get a spare, and if you have a spare you cannot really attach it because it's broken off. Now, to get the axles and wheels removed from the model itself, it's actually quite easy. You can do it with regular sanding paper, regular grinding. I do have this Dremel, it makes it a lot easier. You just place your hand on one side of the axle, on the middle mushroom part, and then use your, well, my Dremel to take off the metal edge on the other side so the axle can still spin freely. And then you can just take off the wheels and axles. So at this point I'm actually drilling out a little pilot hole. For the first time I'm doing this before the paint step because I'm an idiot and I'll usually ruin the paint by doing this. So I drill out a little pilot hole so I can attach a self-tapping screw to the car when it's done, obviously, so it can be easily taken apart again in the future. And there is my favorite step, the sand blasting step. It's just so satisfying to watch the paint fly off. This took me about 2 minutes to do the entire model, not even that, I think a minute to do the entire model and the base, and there it is. I did forget the front, I need to redo it in a sandblaster, but that's not the order right now. The order is the roof. As you can see, there's quite a bit of oxidation on the roof, so I take a piece of sandpaper, first a lot, 380 I think, and then onto 700 or something like that, to smoothen out the, well, top of the car. Then it's time for primer. For primer, a fine surface primer by Tamiya in grey, like always. Well, usually I take white, but this time I have grey because I decided to do a darker color for the model itself. Then the model gets painted with the doors on, and then the trunk gets painted separately. So because I really wanted to paint inside the trunk. Now on to the base. Normally the sandblaster removes all the imperfections, but this was just too deep, I guess. So I take my chromish, silverish, actionish Euro Store spray and paint it in a nice silver chrome-ish paint. And obviously let that dry for about an hour, because this takes a lot longer to dry. There it is. So I decided to take off the doors for the painting step, so I certainly won't forget to paint inside the door jambs, which I'm known to be do. Next, it's time for the color. I did a poll, not a real poll, I asked a question on my YouTube page. This is probably the last time I'm going to ask it on my YouTube page. I'm going to ask it on my Patreon. Link to my Patreon if you want to support the channel obviously is in the description down below and on the top right of your screen right now. I will be asking their advice, what color I should do, what model I should do, and things like that. So one more time, it's in the description down below if you want to support me on Patreon. Now for color, I'm using a royal blue. That was, I think, one of the popular colors on the little poll on my YouTube page. Besides grey, and I think was champagne or green. I really wanted to do it in green, like the Top Gear Mercedes 600 Grocer from Jeremy, but I decided to go with a nice royal blue because this is a car for royalty in my eyes. In the 60s, I think this car came out originally. So I painted the doors, the trunk and model separately, 3 coats, leaving 15 to 20 minutes to dry between coats like usual. Then for my second favorite, well, it's still one of my favorite steps of every restoration, and that's the fine details. So you can add so much life to these models just by adding a little bit of red, orange, white, black, doesn't matter. The model just comes to life with some, in this case, brake lights. For the first time in a couple times, I didn't actually paint in the number plates because I didn't want to. Good reason as any, I guess. Then the blinkers, one on the left, one on the right, back, and on the front I do it on the base itself. And one thing I, well, kind of forgot, but not really forgot, is to paint in the rear bumper. Because there is, well, the base itself has a rear bumper, but above that, the casting itself also has kind of a rear bumper, and I decided to not paint it because I thought it would look awkward, and I was quiet about it. I really think if I have painted that in the same silver, it just would look really awkward. Next, what I have missed, I painted in the trunk handle and the door handles, and there you see me putting on the blinkers on the base itself, where the Mercedes grille and the headlights are actually based. Normally they're on the car itself, but with this one, it's together with the base. There you can see me putting, well, I have already put on the clear coat, and doesn't the entire body look shiny? I love it when I just put on the clear coat, it shines up so nicely. Well, there it is, I found the interior, big surprise, so I took my hot soapy water and my toothbrush and cleaned out the interior. Now I was going for a nice, royal, warm, brown leather interior, and I think I kind of pulled it off. It looks like, well, some beigeish, brownish leather, if you look at from, 20 centimeters, obviously. So I think I really pulled it off. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of the interior color choose. Also, I did the door panels in the same interior color, because if you open the door you can clearly see that the door panels are in the same color, and I just love that, well, kind of attention to detail. If you look in the car you can see the brown interior, beige brown interior, and the door handles in the same color. Door panels. Next, it's time to polish the windshield. A quick coat of polish, and that's all this thing needs. It's not perfect, but it's as good as I can get it. Next, it's time for the reassembly, and you're going to see me struggle quite a bit. A lot, actually. Just by trying to refit the doors. At first, I just wanted to try to refit them normally, which didn't really go well at all. You can see me struggling right now. Still struggling. Then I decided to put in the little spring first, and then decided to put in the doors. Still wasn't really working at all. I have no idea how. And then suddenly the door, just from the first try on the second side, it just literally, you can see it right there, it just click and it's in. No idea what I did different, but I'm not going to ask questions either, because otherwise I will probably never be able to do that again. Next, the windshield, well, the glass goes back into place. Then I place the trunk. You can place the trunk later, because the the base itself holds the trunk into place, so it cannot fall out again. And after that is in place, trying to shut it, because it has a mind of its own, actually. After that, I just take my interior and place in the interior, right side up. You can see the plastic spring still intact. Then I lay it down on a little glove, so it doesn't get scratched up, and I forgot to sand the axle. So quick little, that's actually my actual speed, I'm just that fast. Sanding the axle so you can look shiny again. Placing the wheel on one axle, sliding through the model, and I'm placing the wheel on the other side, and then go into one of my drawers and take out my little vice grip thingies and just squish the axle so the wheel will not fall off again. And obviously do the same with the rear axle, just speeding up, because you don't want to see me put both axles on regular speed. Then it's time to take the model again, making sure the trunk is closed, because otherwise it's not good. After that, just take the model, snap in both rivets, not rivets, the both posts in the base, and then take a self-tapping screw to screw in the base to the model so it can easily be taken apart again in the future. So that's everything for this restoration. Let's take a look at it before the restoration, when it was still, well, kind of blue with light blue and no interior, doors, blah blah. You can see it right there, and let's look at it after the restoration when it's nice royal blue with a brown leather interior, nicely finished rear lights and blinkers, a nice polished windshield with a nice silver base, and with the doors open so you can clearly see that the door panels match the interior, which I find an amazing detail. So if you enjoyed this restoration, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, visit my Patreon, and hope to see you in a future video. But one more thing, and I want to give a special thanks to all my patrons. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.